a little bit of community, and hopefully that combination of consistency, community, good vibes that I try to send out to the internet helps us all make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits towards better hip mobility and better movement. Let's get started. We're doing some hip cars to help warm up, and hip cars look a little bit like this. We're starting by bringing our knees up as high as you can. We're going to open up that hip directly to the side as much as possible. We're going to rotate that leg so that your ankle comes up to the same height as your knee. And from here, I want you to keep on going. Keep on bringing that ankle up, 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 up as high as you can. Then bring that leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull that leg down and back behind you, and that is one rep. We're going to do 10 of these on the left side. We're going to do 10 on the right side. Then we're going to reverse the whole thing, do 10 on the left, 10 on the right. This is our warm-up, so if your first couple are not looking too smooth, that's okay. Just getting through them. Hips warm up, and they'll get better as we go. Cool? Let's go. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. This is 2, 3, open, ankle up, down and back. 4, open, ankle up, down and back. 5, open, ankle up, down and back. 6, open, ankle up, down and back. 7, open, ankle up, down and back. 8, open, ankle up, down and back. 9, open, ankle up, down and back. 10. I think that was already 10, but we'll just do a bonus one. 11. Whew. Those are hip cars for one leg. We got another leg to start evening some things out. Let's go. Front, open. Ooh, I'm already off balance because I looked at the camera. Ankle up, down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Ooh, I'm super off balance. If you're also off balance, make sure you got something to grab, something to lean against. I'm going to have the side of this couch against the shin, so if I lean a little bit, I'll get a little bit of support. Let's continue. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. I think this is 2. Open, ankle up, down and back. 3, open, ankle up, down and back. 4, open, ankle up, down and back. 5, open, ankle up, down and back. 6, open, ankle up, down and back. 7, open, ankle up, down and back. 8, open up, ankle up, down and back. 9, last one. 10. Those are some hip cars for our left and right legs going forward. You're starting to break a sweat. Great. If you're getting there, not quite there, don't worry. We got a whole bunch of ones to do in reverse. Let's go. To do them in reverse, we're doing the same major points that we're hitting. We're just going to be doing them backwards. So if this is your first time joining in, it might be a little bit confusing. You just barely figured out one, but now you got to figure out something else. Don't worry. We're going to go nice and slow so you can catch up as you need to. Cool? Let's go. Bring that leg back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Try to keep your core tight so that your low back isn't torquing when we do this. From here, we're going to lift that leg up to the side. I want you to bring the ankle up as high as you can. Bring the ankle all the way down. And then bring the knee forward. All right? Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 1. Oh, ankle up, ankle down. 2. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 4. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 7. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 8. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 9. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 10. Whew. Those are 10 more hip cars on the left leg. We're almost done. We're 75% of the way through. One last leg. 10 more reps. If you're tired, shake out the legs for a second. And Let's go. Again, tense that core just a little bit so that you're not torquing a whole bunch when we're doing the hip cars. And let's go. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, 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 back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Kind of forgot to count. I'm gonna pretend that was 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 7. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 8. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 9. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Those are hip cars. If you're just joining in, you're like, what the heck is this guy doing, making his legs fly all over the place? These are designed to help you get a little bit more range of motion in your hips through a lot more of the angles your hips should be able to do, but probably aren't quite capable of, and using your own muscles to get stronger and give you control over those positions. And this is our first warm-up exercise. If you're wondering what we're doing in general, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern to do a couple of things. The first one is to practice consistency. It is really hard to exercise, and it's really hard to do things where you just suffer a little bit every single day going, oh, my hips, oh, my ankles, oh, my legs. And so hopefully with this show, with this live, we make it a little bit easier for you to come in, hang out, do a little bit of stretch, and take care of some of your joints and move a little bit better. The second thing I care a lot about is community. At the end of the day, we're here trying to make everybody a little bit more mobile, move a little bit better, get deeper into your side splits. So hang out, send good vibes, support each other, and make this process of training a little bit easier on yourselves. All right? Is there anything else? No, I think that's it. We do this every day. So practice consistency, hang out, send good vibes. If you like the show, if you like the concept, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We are here every day. If you're not decided, we got so much more to go because this is only our first warm-up exercise. You got time to change your mind. Let's go. Fold forward. We're getting to this L shape for warm-up exercise number 2. A lot of us with tight low backs, we'll start feeling the low back just stretching out and relaxing right here from the very beginning. And once your low back is a little bit more chilled out, I want you to realize that your hamstrings are really tight. This is what we're doing. This exercise that we're about to do is called the elephant walks. And it is very movement heavy, but it's primarily focused on the hamstrings. And you're going to feel a whole bunch of things in your legs as you do them. And that's okay. Cool. Once your low back has stopped nagging at you and your hamstrings are starting to feel nice and tight, I want you to bend one knee. Right now my left knee is bent, and I want you to straighten out the other leg, the right leg. I want you to focus on bringing that belly button down into the ground. Your hamstrings will get tight here. Your hamstrings will get tight on the other leg too. They'll feel a little bit different, and that is okay. Keep on trying to bring your belly button down. Get low and switch. Oh. Other knee bends. The leg that was bent is straight now. And we're going to keep... Oh, man, that was intense. Stretch from side to side. This first couple of reps should feel very intense. You can take them at a nice and slow pace. Keep on trying to bring your belly button down. You might feel some pressure and some tingliness right underneath your butt. That is basically where your hamstrings tie into your pelvis, and you're feeling it there. That's kind of normal. You'll probably be feeling some weirdness in your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are 3 different muscles. One of them turns into a bicep, so it really feels like there's 4 muscles because the bicep end, one of the ends, turns into like a slingshot shape. And when you're in this stretched out position, trying to move from side to side, they kind of like rub into each other and do funky stuff, and all of the other tissues in your leg are just trying to figure out what the heck is going on because they don't do this very often, so they're going to be all weird too. Whew. Keep on going, bend one knee, straighten the other. At this point, you should be able to move a little bit more confidently, a little bit smoother, perhaps. But if you're not quite there yet, just don't worry about it. Keep going. And last but not least, your calves and your toes and your feet might be a little bit tingly. Often this is called nerve flossing, especially in your toes. And it might just feel like your feet were really cold for a while and you kind of can't figure out how to warm your toes back up. But that sensation is called nerve flossing. When the nerves are getting a little bit of a stretch in their respective capabilities. Whew. All right. Hopefully, by now, you're moving a little bit smoother. You can go at a faster pace. You're feeling like you're bringing your hips, your belly button down lower to the ground. And you can switch back and forth a little bit more fast. You don't have to do this fast. I'm just showing you what happens once you've warmed up. You can do all these things. All right. And that means it's time. Pop a little bit of a squat, sit back, come back into standing. Whew. When you folded forward for a long time, sometimes your low back muscles, the spinal erector muscles, fall asleep a little bit. And if you suddenly try to stand up, they can be a little bit shocked, a little bit confused. So if you pop into a little bit of a squat before you come up, helps to wake them up before you start doing stuff. Cool? All right, that is our elephant walks. And hopefully you're feeling like you're already moving a little bit better. We're going to get back into that same position, and we're going to do something called thoracic rotation. We're slowly rotating our spine and getting a stretch there. So we're going to open up our legs, hips width. We're going to bend one knee. We're going to straighten out the other leg. We're going to fold our belly button down. Then the arm from the bent knee side, so right here is my left arm, it's going across to the right side. And we're pushing against that leg to help rotate the chest, open it up to the right. Extend the right arm up into the air behind you. Don't hold your breath. Breathe. Reach behind you. And come back down. I talk fast, but that does not mean you need to move fast. Do it nice and slow and gentle. And then as you get more familiar, you can do whatever you want, just like we did for the elephant walks. All right. Other side. Right knee is now bent. Left leg is straight. Right hand is reaching across to the left side, pushing against the ankle. Open up that chest. Rotate. Look at those fingers. So your neck is also rotating. Your eyes are working hard, trying to get to that left side of your body. And come on back down. Whew, that, I think, is one. We got 5 in total to do. So we got 4 left. Let's go. Left knee bent. Right leg is straight open. And when you reach the deepest that you can reach, why don't you take a quick, small breath on the exhale with a little bit less pressure in your chest from the oxygen, the air in your lungs. You might be able to get just a little bit further. Give that a try. So we're reaching. We're getting stuck wherever we're stuck. And then we're going to intentionally inhale and exhale. And get a little bit more out of that stretch. All right, that's 2. We got 3 more. Open. When we do this stretch, we want every joint in our vertebrae in the spine to get a little bit of rotation. If you're feeling like there's a lot of discomfort in a small spot on your back, that might mean your back is not rotating together, and there's one part that's rotating a lot more than the others. That is a good reason to slow down and check out what that discomfort might be, and or maybe stop doing this rotation. Whew. But if you're just feeling general discomfort because you're stretching out your back, that's probably fine. Cool. I forgot to keep count, so this is either 4 or 5. Since I'm not sure, we'll just do one more. It's not gonna hurt anybody. Oof. Number 5. Whew. That is some thoracic rotation. Hope your back is feeling a little bit looser and your shoulders feeling a bit more tense, probably from reaching out behind you and going, ah, and trying to reach stuff. That's all we do for the arms. That's all we do for the back. So get ready to move on. We're going to move on into a third warm-up exercise, the Cossack switch. And that looks a little bit like this. We're going to stand the legs decently wide apart. We're going to try our best to scoot and sink down into this type of position where we're in basically a super deep squat on one side and the leg is extended on the other side. To make this easier for yourself, you can definitely lean your butt against a couch or a wall, and that'll help support you a little bit so you don't fall back, and you can kind of squish down into this deeper position. Most of us are going to struggle to getting that deep in that position. You might be able to get here, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe a little higher. What I want you to try to help get your body prepared for this position is I want you to try and squat down as small and compact as you can, and I want you to tuck your knees to your chest, and I want you to hug your knees to your chest. I want you to lean slightly forward so that your heels are up. You're leaning forward, your Achilles tendon is stretched, your calves are feeling really, really tense down, and they're getting a stretch as well. Whew. And while you guys stay in this position, trying to fold your chest forward, work on those hips and ankles, I'm going to talk about different variations of the Cossack switch. All right, you guys stay in your little squish positions, move around, shake, do a little dance, get mobile, and I'm going to talk about what we're going to do from that position. Sorry, I'm ready to extend the leg. From here, from my tucked ball position, I want you to lean forward, put your hands down. You don't have to do this yet. I'm still explaining. You can jump in when I say so. And we're going to try our best to extend one leg out, keep the heel down, and get the heel of the other foot down. If you can't sit down super deep, that's okay. You might have to be here, you might have to be here, you might have to be somewhere really high. That's fine. It's all part of the game, progress, part of the process. From here, we want to get our butts over to the other side. So you can put your hands down, you can bend one knee, straighten out the other leg, come up to the heel on this side, be on the heel on that side, and slowly bring your hips over. And that's half a rep. Once we've come back, that's 1 rep. If this is really intense on your knees, you can start by going up, across, and then sinking down a little bit. You can also adjust the angle of your knees. Some people like to do these like this, with the knees pointed directly in front of them, come across, and knee directly in front. You can open up your legs if you want a little bit more, have your knees pointing out to other sides, and see if that is a little bit more comfortable. I would like you to work on all of those different positions, but start with what works for you. All right? Come on up. Actually, don't come on up. Stay in your balls. Find enough room on the floor to do the leg thing that I just showed you. We're going to do it together. All right? We're going to do 10 reps in total. So from your tucked ball position, lean forward, put your hands down, extend one leg out to the side. Try to keep both heels down. If you need the support, put your hands down in front of you and support your hips over all the way to the other side. Sink in here for a second, for like just 1 or 2, and then come back to the other side. That is 1 rep. Let's keep going. Over. 2. If you're feeling like you might be strong enough to do these without the hand support, you can keep on leaning super far forward like we have been and remove your hands. This will make it so that you're basically doing that same motion. You're not relearning balance. But if you're feeling super strong here and you don't need any more of these, you can try to straighten out your spine and sit up a little bit straighter. And the whole time, of course, you can work on trying to sit deeper into this stretch. I think this is 7. 8. Again, if your knees are starting to get a little bit achy, you can focus on squatting first, coming up a little bit higher, come across, and then sink down into the stretched out position at the bottom. A lot of the discomfort in the knee might be coming from these angles where you're kind of low to the ground, your knees are at an ankle, and your knees are at an angle, and might be easier if you pop a little bit higher and then sink a little bit deeper later. Cool? I think that's 9, probably already 10, but we'll just do one more for good measure. Boom. Here is 10 Cossack switches. If your hips are tired, I hope you used your hands to help out. I'm a little bit out of breath. So that was our entire warm-up. And if you're just joining in for the first time, you're like, oh my God, that was the warm up? That's so crazy. Don't worry. We're warming up for some stretching. And the stretching is way less intense, cardio wise at least, than what we've done so far. It's a lot more static stretching, which means we're getting to a position. We're trying to squish you a little bit deeper, and you won't be as out of breath, I promise. Okay, grab a sip of water, and then we will transition into our stretches. While you're grabbing that sip of water, make sure you have a cushion to put one of your knees on, because we're going to need that in a sec. All right? In the meantime, I'm going to grab my water. I'm going to check the chat real quick. Eduardo on YouTube, welcome back. Manga Mania says, keep going, doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. And Queen on R says, hello, Eduardo. Cool. Tamika Blanding says, when do you usually do this? I started this live 21 minutes ago, and I do this every single day at this time. So Monday through Sunday at this time is 9 p.m. Eastern, if you're going to just find a time zone and then convert it to your own. But 21 minutes ago, 22 minutes ago is when we started. We do this every single day, Monday through Sunday. And on the weekends, we do it at the opposite time of day. So, oh, there we go. Travis Roxy wrote in the chat. Thank you very much. On the weekends, we do 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 6 a.m. Pacific. So 9 a.m. in Florida, 6 p.m. in California. Cool? Okay. Hope you enjoyed your sip of water. I should have gone deeper into the chat, but I didn't. So we'll have to do that later. Come on back. We're doing some stretches. The first stretch that we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. And the way we're going to do them looks a little bit like this. I want you to grab a cushion. Oh, is this the only cushion I have right now? I want this. Grab a cushion. Protect your knee. I want you to drop down onto that cushion. If your cushion is big enough to start, you can bring both your knees down on it temporarily. I want you to point your hips forward, your chest forward, your head forward. Everything's pointing directly forward. I want you to extend this leg slightly in front. You might struggle a little bit with balance as soon as you get into this position, and if that's the case, you can try to widen your stance a little bit and see if that helps. From here, we're trying to fold at the hips and bring the belly button down to the thighs. All right, so it's going to look like this. Whew. This stretch might look familiar. You might know it for a different name. There's like a dozen different sports that give this stretch a different name, so we're not going to go into names. We're just going to say that we're focusing on the hamstring stretch from this position. All right, so drop that knee down, extend the leg in front, widen it for balance if you need to, fold the belly button down towards the thigh. That's our starting point. From here, I want you to just take some normal breaths. If your hamstrings are really tense, really struggling, just try to relax and chill and breathe. Okay. And now, hopefully, as your legs get a little bit more comfortable, maybe you're leaning a little bit deeper into the stretch, I want you to take a big inhale. And with that big inhale, I want you to slowly exhale. And as you slowly exhale, I want you to try your best to fold a little bit more forward into that stretch. This is not about the head coming down. It's not about your chest coming down. Those just stretch out your back and your neck. We don't really need that. We do plenty of slouching in our regular lives. So focus on bringing your belly button down towards the ground. If you have a slight bend in your back while you're doing this, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. But if you're going and you're trying to turn yourself into a circle, into a ball, that's too much. Cool? All right, let's go. Inhale. Exhale and slowly fold. When you're as tight as your muscles allow you to be, take some normal breaths. Chill. Imagine this being super comfortable and not super intense. And give yourself a light leg massage if you want. From here, we're going to do one more inhale, exhale. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale. Fold. Now I'm a little bit sniffly. Excuse my mucus. I'm sure it does not sound pleasant. From here, we're good. We're ready. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. If I didn't explain this already, I probably didn't. We're doing mostly 30 seconds of stretching. a whole bunch of preparation to get into a good stretch, and then we're holding it for 30 seconds. All right, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on out of that stretch if your hamstrings are feeling really intense. That's because we did a really intense hamstring stretch. We breathe a whole bunch of times trying to fold deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper forward, and your hamstrings should be quite uncomfortable. Cool. Come on up into standing. You actually don't have to stand. Just switch legs. Get ready. Knee down, leg forward, widen for balance if you need to. Fold the belly button down to the thigh, and your hamstrings should be unhappy already. Ooh. Okay. Take some normal breaths. Relax for a second. Whew. Play around with how you balance your weight. If all of your weight is in that knee that's down on the ground, maybe lean a little bit to the side and see how that changes your tension in the hamstrings. Whew. Or if all of your weight is in the leg that's extended in front of you, lean a little bit more to the other leg and see how that changes your feelings. You might also be in a position where your hips are tucked really far to one side. And I'll demonstrate that in a sec so you guys can enjoy a little bit longer of rest. You might get into a situation where your hips are going like this and you're folding forward. Right? That adds a certain different shape to the stretch. It's not necessarily good or bad, but I want you to be conscious of it. All right? And if you find yourself doing something like this where all of your weight is on one side, your hip is going way far past the knee when you're stretching, why don't you try your best to square up your hips a little bit and see if that lets you get a little bit deeper into the stretch, lets you focus a little bit more on the hamstrings. All right? Whew. I'm going to spin back around. You don't have to move. You can keep chilling. And where are we in the camera? There we go. Boom. From here, fold and down, square up those hips, and inhale, exhale. Ready? Inhale. Exhale and fold. My hamstrings are crying, and I hope yours are okay. But if they're too okay, that means you don't work hard enough. All right. Inhale, exhale, fold. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Yeesh. Oh man, my left side is struggling. Super bad today. Okay. Oh, that's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. 25. I like doing the hamstring stretch in this position because you can slowly move your hands around and shift the position, do a little wiggling, trying to figure out where this discomfort is coming from. If it's just from the hamstrings, it's just from something else like the angle of our hips earlier. And it's good. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. But if you have been in a position where your arms have been totally locked out and straight this whole time, I challenge you to bend your elbows a little bit and see if you can get deeper into that stretch. Sometimes when our arms are straight to protect ourselves, to help stay balanced, we're keeping our stretch from getting any deeper. And so bend those elbows. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that, my friends, is our hamstring stretch. Oh, that's stretch number 1. We got 5 total stretches, and the first 4 are all going to be one round of 30 seconds. So that's nice and cool. We're going to move on into stretch number 2. You can get rid of the cushion. You don't need it anymore. We are going to do some butterfly stretches. Butterfly stretches look a little bit like this. We are sitting on our butts. We're bringing our feet together. we're pulling our feet towards the groin area. And in the butterfly stretch, we are trying to focus on stretching out these muscles here in the groin. I recommend that you have your back against a couch or a wall. And that is because when your back is against the couch, when your back is against the wall, it supports you so that you don't start falling backwards. Most of us with tight hamstrings, with less experience sitting on the floor, if you're in this position, you start to want to like roll backwards. And you have to work pretty hard to stay leaning forward. Maybe you're pulling onto your ankles to keep you from slowly dipping backwards. So if you have a wall, wow, my nose is super itchy. It is. I'm good. If you are leaning against the edge of a couch, leaning against a wall, that will keep your torso in position so you can focus on the stretch for your legs. All right? So get your butt back to the wall. If you're against the wall, your hips, your butt, your low back, your shoulders, your head, all of it should be up against the wall, pushing against it. If you don't have a full wall, then we'll have to make do. And I'm using this couch. All right? From here, I want you to focus on using your outer thigh muscles and your glutes to open up your legs. What that means is bring your knees down into the ground. All right? The reason why I focus on the muscles doing it is because I want you to get stronger every time we train together so you have more control over your body. So open up those legs. If this is your first time, you have no idea what muscles I'm trying to get you to use, that's okay, as long as your knees are going down towards the ground, or you're feeling a lot of tension here in your glutes, somewhere out in the rest of your legs, but you're feeling a stretch here in the groin. We're making progress in the right direction. You'll figure it out eventually. From here, we're going to take our hands, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure, try to bring the knees down. And if you're leaning against the wall, you're going to feel pressure in your shoulders, in the back of your head. That is because your arms are right here. They're pushing into your legs, but they're also pushing into the wall behind you. And that is perfect. That is exactly how it's supposed to feel. We're pushing our legs down. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If you're against the couch or something a little bit different, you won't be able to apply as much force through your shoulders and your head, and that is okay. You gotta make do with what you got. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, let the hands go first. If your legs are feeling like they're stuck in position, you can't get out for some reason, you can shake your legs out, give them a little wiggle on either side. They'll wake up, and then you'll be able to flap the wings of your butterfly, and you'll be ready to get up for stretch number 3. We're getting on into either the seated pancake or the standing pancake. You can do the seated pancake against a wall if you don't have an actual thing to sit against, because you can just sort of lean back into the wall and use the wall as a little bit of a rest for your butt. And if you do have something to sit on, I recommend something that's really heavy and sturdy and stable, so that when you're leaning forward, it doesn't slide out from underneath your butt, because that's going to be scary. Cool? Oh, standing pancake, seated pancake. From a seated position, if this is your first time joining in, feel free to start with the seated pancake. It's a little easier to handle. We're going to try and open our legs decently wide. You're not hurting the hips. In this position, you should actually be able to open them pretty far compared to if you were standing. And from here, we're going to just try to fold forward. Bring the belly button down towards the ground as much as possible. The goal of the pancake is to fold yourself in half, and it's really hard. So we're going to do every version where gravity gives us a lot of help. In the seated position, because we're folding our upper body forward, gravity is pulling our head, our chest, our upper body down towards the ground. And if you extend your arms out in front of you, it's pulling your arms down too, and that's leverage that we need for our seated pancake. That's pretty much it for the seated version. Let's talk standing. If you're feeling a little bit more intense, you want to train some of your inner thigh muscles, then we're going to get into the standing pancake. From here, we're opening up the legs, we're folding forward, bringing the belly button down. From a standing position, should be much easier to sort of let gravity pull you really, 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 really deep because your hips are way higher. And from here, you can probably open up your legs to a slightly wider position. You can experiment with putting your hands down on the ground if you're able to reach. And same thing, we're trying to bring the belly button as low to the ground as possible. That's it. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. I hope you're ready. Let's go. 30, 29, 28. To make it harder, extend your arms above your head. To make it easier, put your hands down. 25, 24, 23, 22. Remember, belly button down. We're folding forward. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Come on out of that position. If you're in a standing pancake, you might be able to flop down onto your butt. Be careful. You might be able to lean forward and pull your legs in. If you're in a seated pancake, it might be a little bit easier for you to just pull your legs in. That was our pancake stretch. There's two main places where you probably felt it. One of them is in the hamstrings, and the other is in the inner thighs. The inner thighs are feeling that tension because you're stretching them out as wide as they can go. But if you were doing the standing variation, you're stretched out, but you're also contracting the muscles to hold your whole entire body weight in that crazy angle for 30 seconds. That contraction plus stretching is, well, a lot of where the discomfort comes from. It's the same for the hamstrings. Your hamstrings tie behind the knee and into the bottom of your hips. If you know a little bit of what the skeleton looks like, your hips kind of look like a little bit of a heart shape at the bottom of the heart. Where your tailbone is, that funky bone when you sit down and you're like, ooh, your butt is bony. That right there is where the other end of your hamstring is connecting to your skeleton. So when the bottom of your hips go back to here when you're seated, or even higher when you're folded super far forward, that's the stretch that you're feeling. You're feeling the hamstrings going from this length, like low, mid hip, mid thigh, all the way up to like up here. Right? That's the stretch. It's like there's like 6 inches of stretch in there, maybe, depending on how much you're folding forward. So if you're ever wondering why your hamstrings are struggling so bad, it's because you're asking them to do a lot. They're going, wee! All right. Hopefully that anatomy lesson gave you a couple seconds to shake out, recover from the pancake. That is definitely one of our most intense stretches, exercises through the show. So now we can go find something a little bit more chill to do. We're going to do the figure 4 or the pigeon stretch. And if you are a regular of the show, you can pick whatever one that you want. I'm trying to remember what we did yesterday. I'm pretty sure we did the figure 4 yesterday. So it's time for some pigeon stretch today. I try to explain just one at a time so that the show doesn't get super long. In the pigeon, we're basically doing something that looks like this. We bring the leg across the body, and we're trying to bring the belly button down to the leg. All right. And this is the same for the figure 4. We're basically getting into this position, and we're feeling the stretch here in the side of the glute, in the side of the hip, and we're trying to get nice and compact, like so. In the pigeon, we're going to do this from the floor. So we're going to keep that leg going across the body, and we're going to try and bring our chest down to that leg, right? We're feeling the stretch here in that hip, and there's this bonus back leg. Before, I was standing on this back leg, and now it's kind of just doing stuff. What it does is up to you. If you can extend your leg far back and get into something that looks like this. Like you're doing like a front split, back leg of the front split. If you can't get your leg back there, you can totally just bend it off to the side and still focus on the important part of your stretch. If you can't get your leg straight, but you really want to try to make progress towards that, then I recommend you elevate your leg. You can do that with some yoga blocks. You can do that with a nice and stable stool or chair. Once you use it, it'll elevate your hips. When your hips are elevated, it'll give you a little bit more room to extend that leg behind you. All right. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can do it against your couch. And ta-da, boom. That is how we're setting up for the pigeon. When you're ready, come on down, fold into that stretch. Actually, I'm going to try it from the couch and see how this goes. I have never done it from this, I think. Oh man, the edge of this couch is really hard. That kind of hurts my ankle. Nope. Doing it from the floor. All right. We are crossing that leg directly in front, perpendicular to our chest. We are trying our best to bring the middle of our chest to sort of the midpoint of the leg. That's a good starting point. You can experiment as you go. And we're going to keep the hips low and fold the chest forward. That's it. Ready? 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Remember, you're supposed to feel it in the side of your glutes. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. If it's feeling a lot less intense all of a sudden, push your heels towards your face, and that will make it a lot harder. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, sit back, relax, come out of that stretch. If you did it right, you might feel it a little bit in your hamstrings. You might feel a little bit in the groin, and mostly you should have felt it here in the side of your glutes, in the side of your hips. That is one side. We got one more side to do. Let's do it. Ready? Leg is crossed across the butte. We are trying to keep our hips low to the ground. We're folding our chest down towards that leg. Whew. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. Remember to breathe and see if you can relax as much as you can in this position. 24, 23, 22, 21. Keep your ankle from sliding in towards your groin. Keep pushing it towards your face to get that intense stretch. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is it for our pigeon. Whew. I hope your hips are feeling a little bit more loose, a little bit more relaxed. I find that the pigeon is one of those stretches where if I was chilling and nothing else to do, and I remembered, I'll never remember, but if I remembered, it'd be one of those stretches where I could do this. I could hang out here for a little bit. This is nice. So if you find a stretch that you like to do and you feel like feels really good, that's a blessing. Go enjoy that stretch. Do more of it. Enjoy yourself. All right. That is the fourth of our 5 stretches. We've done basically all of the prep work that we need for our 5th and final stretch. If you're joining in for the first time and you don't know, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility every single day. And I say side split stretching because I want to be able to do the side splits, but also side splits are a combination of a lot of hip mobility that culminates together and turns into this big, beautiful package of ta-da, side splits. So, where am I going with this? We do this every single day. This is hard. We do this every single day to practice consistency. We do this every single day to build a little bit of community. I try to send good vibes out into the internet, hoping that we can all train together. We can simplify some of the workouts and make it a little bit easier to just get in, get some work done, and then get out and do whatever else you got to do for the rest of the day, right? For that reason, I hope if you've enjoyed the show, if you've enjoyed the stretches so far, you enjoyed the workout, you enjoyed the good vibes, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We are live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. And for your respective time zone, what time is that? That is 45 minutes ago is when we start every single day, Monday through Sunday. Okay, where am I going with this? It's time to get into some side splits. Before we actually do side splits, I'm going to talk about safety. I recommend you have a wall or something behind you that you're ready to fall into. All right. That's because when we get into the side splits, and we're deep in some position that looks kind of like this. Sometimes you're just trying to adjust your hips. You're trying to lean back and put more pressure into your hips. Sometimes you might just lose your balance a little bit and you might start falling backwards. If you're starting to fall forwards, that's no big deal because your hands can catch you. But if you're falling backwards and you're like, whoa, it can be really scary. Your butt's going to smash into the ground and that could hurt a little bit. So if you have a couch behind you that you can fall into, perfect. Make sure the couch won't slide out from behind you. Make sure it's against the wall or something. Or have a wall behind you. I'm going to demonstrate with an imaginary wall. If you're in a position and you have an imaginary wall behind you, if you fall backwards and your butt smashes into the wall, it's like moved like 6 inches, right? No big deal. If your shoulder smashes into the wall, it's moved like 6 inches. No big deal. If your butt falls all the way back and down into the ground, that is going to hurt way more. I slammed my butt into the ground a little louder than I was expecting just now. That example. Or maybe it was the perfect example. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Have something behind you to catch you in case you fall. Fingers crossed you don't fall, but in case you do, have something nice to catch you. All right? The reason why we care about nice, soft things to fall into, or at least not a terrible butt pain, is because we care about comfort, we care about relaxation, and we care about safety. Those 3 things sort of combine all into one main idea, and that is stretching is about being able to relax your muscles. If you're feeling really tense, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling scared because you're doing something brand new that you've never done before and just trying to figure it out and you're experimenting, you're kind of tense, all of those pieces are going to make it a little bit harder to relax, right? In order to relax, we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to feel like no big deal. I'm prepared. Nothing can hurt me, right? All right. That's it. That's the whole spiel. We're done talking about safety. We're done talking about relaxation and comfort. It's time to get into some side splits. We're going to start by opening up the legs decently wide. If this angle is hurting your hips, you're already uncomfortable, bring your legs in. From here, we're folding forward, pointing the belly button down towards the ground, and we're going to try our best to put our hands down. If you can't quite reach just yet, that's okay. You can grab a block, you can grab a book. You can do that later, you can do that now. From here, we're going to try our best to open up our hips a little bit wider. You might be confused. You're like, wait, didn't it just hurt a second ago when we were here? How come when our hands down, we're trying to open up our legs a little bit wider? When you're folding forward like this, your thighs and your hips are in a different relationship than when you're standing up perfectly straight. And that relationship lets you open up your legs wider. And we're going to try to maintain that exact relationship as we move through the rest of the stretch. From here, I want you to externally rotate the legs. What that means is, I'm going to scoot way over here so you can see my feet. What that means is we're rotating the legs so that the heel is down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. We're going to do that on both sides. You just can't see my other foot because I don't have enough space. From here, when you've rotated on both sides, I want you to see if you can open up your legs just a little bit further. And I want you to try your best to walk your hands back. I am way too close to my wall, my couch. So I'm going to scoot forward and then walk my hands back. When you walk your hands back, you're going to put a whole bunch more pressure into your legs, into the stretch. And that is how we're setting up our side split. Do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can get just a little bit deeper. And that's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. If you're very close to your wall or if your butt is already touching the wall or your couch, that is perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. It's a little bit of support and it'll keep you feeling stronger in this position. If you have a couch and your butt is already touching it, you might be able to lean a little bit further back and sit up a little straighter and keep all of your weight going directly down into your legs. And that's a neat little trick, right? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. All right, walk your hands forward. Oh, slowly try to bring your legs in. Oh, and that is side split number 1. We got 2 more side splits to go. The side splits are a little bit different from the previous stretches. We do 3 rounds of 30 seconds, and in between the rounds, we shake out our muscles, we reduce the tension, we try to relax the muscles as much as possible so that the next side split can be as good as possible. All right, I hope you're ready. Come on up into standing, and we're going to shake it out. Shake out the tension, get loose, and floppy and flowy. We're jellyfish, okay? First thing I want you to do, especially if you're brand new to the show, is to work on flicking out your leg like this. Imagine you just got out of the pool, hot tub, beach, whatever it is, and you're trying to just shake the water off of your toes. Perhaps you are with a sibling. Perhaps you're imagining a childhood with some cousins, some neighbors, some friends, some girls or boys you're trying to tease, and you go whoosh, whip that water into their face, and you go ha 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 ha. That whipping motion. Sending the water droplet flying as far as possible so you can be as ninja-like and stealthy with your flick. That is what we want our legs to be doing. Just chilling, whipping out, relaxing. When you do that whipping motion, I want it to be relaxed. I don't know if that was clear because I turned it into a big joke. But as you get more comfortable with that whipping motion, you can drop the knee down, you can relax the leg, and you can turn it into this sort of like floppy, shaky, 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 shaky thing. That is all we need to do. Hopefully that story gives you some context, something to help remember the shaky, 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 shaky feeling that we're trying to create right now. And you only need to do this for like 5 to 10 seconds on each leg. The more you do this, the faster your muscles will be like, oh, it's relaxation time. And you'll have trained yourself to be chill, to be floppy, to be flowy. So just shake, 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 till your ankles are just flying all over the place. Maybe your calf muscles are swinging and going crazy. That is what we want. From here, we did a little bit for the legs. Now we want to do some for the hips because the hips have been struggling doing this thing, right? From here, I want you to sort of lean to one side. All of your weight is in one leg. We're going to drop just the balls of our foot, our big toe, down to the ground. We're going to shake our legs in and out. Again, there's no weight here on this leg. It's just there so that it's a little bit easier to go shake it in, shake it out, shake it in, shake it out. We are making this fun, just doing some dance. This is not about maximum range of motion. It's not about anything other than we're moving our legs to help these muscles in the hip to relax a little bit. And if you can make it fun, if there's a dance move, if you want to make it like my God, my brain is farting so bad right now. What is going on? Stanky leg, stanky leg junior, then do it. Make it fun. Same thing on the other side, stanky leg junior. Move those hips a little bit, open them in and out. If you want to combine them into some other dance moves, by all means, make it work, make it happen. Let's go into side split number 2. Our knees, our legs, our hips, everything's relaxed. We're ready to go. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever you're prepared to fall into. Open up the legs, fold forward. Put your hands down if you can. Open up the legs further if you can. If you can't, you can always elevate your hands a little bit more. From here, we are externally rotating the legs. I'm squeezing myself all the way over to this side. There we go. Boom. Externally rotating the legs so that the ankles are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. From here, we're going to try our best to walk our hands back towards our hips a little bit. And, that's our stretch. Do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can get just a little bit deeper. Break the friction holding your feet back. And we're ready. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. Relax. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. All right, we're done. Walk your hands forward. Oof. If you need to just flop over and crawl around right now, that's absolutely okay. I can't see you. Nobody's judging. Oh, sit back when you can. Try your best to relax. And when you're feeling like your legs, your hips are a little bit more ready, come on up into standing. We're going to start shaking out the legs right away. I'm trying to glance at the chat from here, and I don't think I see anything at the moment. But let's go. All right. Oh. We just did our second side split. It's time to shake it out. Let's go. Flick the leg. Flick, 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 flick. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And when that leg is relaxed, switch over to the other side. Flick, 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 flick. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop it around. We're a jellyfish. I don't know if any jellyfish move this fast, but we're relaxed. We're wiggly. We're relaxed. All right. From here, get ready. We're going to do some of those hip things again. Stanky leg. Either side. Do as many as you'd like. We're just shaking out the muscles. As you get more comfortable with this, you might realize that you can use your muscles to sort of power through these positions real fast. And when you're doing that, you might notice that your quad muscles can sort of flop and shake and go crazy all over the place if you're able to relax those while you're doing this. And so I want you to experiment with that and add that into your leg relaxation stuff when we're shaking it out. All right? If you can't figure it out, if you're not moving fast enough to get your thighs to fly all over the place, don't worry about it. But know that there's something else in the realm of shaking out your body that you can work on. Cool? All right. I think that's enough rest. Let's get into side split number 3. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever it is that you're prepared to fall into, whether it's a wall or a couch. Open up your legs decently wide. No pain in the hips yet. Fold forward. Point your belly button down into the ground. Open up the legs a little bit wider. Externally rotate the legs so that your heels, your toes, and your knees, your heels are down, your toes and knees are pointing up. What this does, if I didn't explain this clearly, is it rotates the thigh bone and its relationship to the hip so that you can stand a little bit more upright, right, and get into a deeper stretch position. We're already in this position a little bit when we are facing down on the ground and our toes are pointing, in this case, towards the camera, towards the top of my head. When I sit back and my toes are still pointing in the direction of the top of my head, we're basically just maintaining that same position, but we're sitting up instead of leaning forward. And that puts pressure on slightly different muscles. Cool? All right. Walk your hands back towards your hips. And we're ready. Do a little wiggle. Little wiggle. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. If this whole time you've been doing these with locked elbows, give them a little bit of a bend and see if suddenly the weight in your legs gets crazy heavy. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, we're almost done, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward and bring your knees in. That is our third side split, and we are basically done with all the hard stuff. Now it's time to shake out the tension in our legs. Time to relax, do some joint checks, and then we'll be all done. Come on up when you can, and let's shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. Now that you know exactly what you're doing, you can do exactly what you want and how much of it that you want. Shake, 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 shake. Relax, 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 relax. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Flop, flop, flop. Do as many of these as you'd like. Turn it into as fun a dance move as you'd like. In and out, in and out, in and out. Stanky leg. Ooh, drag it in. Get those hips to relax. And then we're going to add in a little bit more range of motion work. All right, we're gonna pop into 20% of a squat, sound like this. We're gonna lean all our weight into one side. We're gonna try to open up our hips as wide as possible. Point the knee directly to the left. Really feel that stretch sort of here. Contract those glutes to help open up the leg. We're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna bring the leg all the way in. I want you to feel the stretch almost in the glutes. I want you to really focus on trying to bring the knee in as deep into the hip as possible. And reverse. Open. In. Out. In. Out. I think there's 3. Let's do 5. 4. And 5. Other leg. 20% of a squat. Lean most of your weight into one side. Open up that hip as wide as you can. Nothing else in the body is moving. All the movement is coming from where this thigh bone connects into your hip. All right. Bring the leg in as deep as you can. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Open. In. Open. In. Remember, when we do these, we're trying to get maximum range of motion. We're trying to contract a whole bunch of muscles. We're trying to get stronger a little bit every day. And 5. Okay. If after that your hips and all these hip muscles are tired again and really tight, you can go back and do some more shaky, wiggle dances. And stanky leg. All right. When your legs are feeling a little bit more back to normal, feel free to experiment with other things that might make your hips, your legs feel a little bit better. I kind of like to play imaginary hacky sack a little bit because the pigeon stretch, that like kick, feels like a nice stretch in the side of the glute and the back side of the leg, and that is quite pleasant. So give that a shot, and I think it's time for some joint checks. We're going to start with some hula hoops, some hip circles, and I want you to slowly kind of go through all of that range of motion and see if there's anything that's a little bit uncomfortable. I feel a lot of tension here in the sides of the hips after side splits, so I like to spend a little bit of time moving those around. You can do the same. If you find something else that you need to work on, go ahead, take a second to do that. From there, we're going to do one high knee on each leg. You'll know immediately if it's not going up and down. It should be working fine. We're just shaking our legs like crazy. We're going to keep on going. We're going to pop into sort of a squat. I want you to try to fold your chest down towards your knees as much as possible. I want you to point your knees as far forward as you can so that your Achilles tendon is really firing. Your lower calf muscles are kicking in, helping you stay balanced. A lot of weight is on your toes, on your feet. And when you're leaning forward like this, I want you to try your best to do a slow and controlled calf raise. And down, and up, and down. If you're able to pull all of these things off, all of the main power generating movement patterns in your body should be working pretty good. So with that, it is time for us to wrap up. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you're feeling warmed up, maybe even relaxed now that we're finally done, and hope you enjoyed the side splits and hip mobility that we did today. If you don't know, we do 60 minutes-ish of live side split stretching and hip mobility every single day to practice consistency, build a little bit of community, and I try to send good vibes to the internet to make this whole thing, all the suffering on the floor, all the torture we put ourselves through to move a little bit better, a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable. If you had fun, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe. We are live every single day, starting about an hour and 4 minutes ago. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and that's the whole spiel. Cool? All right, let's see. I'm going to sit down and look at some comments. Bada-boom, bada-bang. Kilmar says bye. Goodbye, Kilmar. I don't know if you're still on. If you said bye way back when, but goodbye. I'm going to scroll through some comments, look at some chat, see if there's anything that I probably should have tried to respond to earlier. And if there is, I'm going to respond to it now. Gnowsty says here. Hi, guys. Hey, Gnowsty. Welcome back. Jeff Montgomery says, Ken, please help me find a Japanese carpenter. I don't even know where I would begin doing that. That's a big ask. Why do you need a Japanese carpenter? Were you trying to employ a Japanese carpenter? Trevor Dorexy says live starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. daily. Yes, that is true. I hope Gina saw that. And what else we got? What else we got? So 8 p.m. in CST, Central Time, I think is 1 time zone over. Yeah, that seems to make sense. Mountain Time is 2 time zones over, and then Pacific is 3 time zones over. That is true facts. Theon, T underscore Theon1 says, this felt amazing. I didn't have much time to do everything. Oh, great. I'm glad the little bit that you got helped you feel amazing. Because a lot of the time, when you're first starting to work out, you're trying to figure out what you want to do, what you like, what you enjoy. If it feels awful, if it feels terrible right at the very beginning, you're not going to want to do more of it, right? So the more fun that it is when you start, the more enjoyable it is right at the beginning, the easier it is to keep going. And so I appreciate that you popped in. You only had a couple minutes and you tried your best and you found something that feels good, because that helps you to focus on something, right? Getting started with anything is better than not doing anything at all. So I appreciate that you tried it. All right, I'm scrolling. I'm really trying to find the message in the chat, and I don't think I see any, so we're going to keep scrolling. All right, I'm gonna scroll back to the bottom and see what's going on. I seem to only catch you when you're about to get off. That is really unfortunate. The live is scheduled, and usually you can click into a link. So if you're finding me on the For You page every single time, then you can try to use that scheduled live function. Cool. Chase says, when doing the hamstring with the block pillow, you said we can help it with massage. Can you show us? Oh, okay. I call it massage. Really, it's just ripping into my hamstring muscles and squeezing wherever I feel like it to get it to relax a little bit. I don't know if it actually helps, but I like to, when I'm doing the hamstring stretch, right? I don't know what angle I'm going to do this at that's going to make any sense. But when I'm in the stretch position, there are a bunch of muscles that are really tense. And I like to just kind of grab them, squeeze them, pull on them, give them a little bit of movement. And I don't know if it actually does anything to help. But there are definitely parts where I'm not a masseuse, I'm not a physical therapist or anything, so I don't know if this is the right terminology, but there are definitely things that I imagine are knots in the muscles where there's like an extra little bit of bulginess, and I like to massage those. And I don't know if that actually does anything, but it seems to make the discomfort a little bit more bearable. When we're in these more intense positions, you're going, right? And I find that when I am like actively focused on not the struggle, but the massaging and doing something with my hands and like trying to grip into the muscles, it just feels less intense. So I don't know. You can try it out and see if it helps you. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Good girl, good life says, I swear I was following. Well, maybe you unfollowed. It's okay, my feelings aren't hurt. But now you've refollowed, so it's great. How about strengthening ankles? Ooh, okay. Ankles are fun because they're quite complex. And I guess I'm going to say that about everything. Everything is complex. The ankles are able to move sort of in all of these angles, right? And you got muscles to do a whole bunch of different things. There are muscles sort of on the outside of the ankle that sort of allow you to go from side to side, right? Contracting some muscles here helps you point your foot sort of to the left, and then there's some more over here that you can contract that will kind of help you point to the right. There are a whole bunch of big muscles that point your toes up towards your face or down towards, or the point position. And to strengthen your ankles, there's a lot that probably starts from your foot strength. Depending on what you need from your ankles. You might be doing a lot of, hold on, let me backtrack. In the winter, when the floor is cold in the bathroom, especially when there's like tile or something, I spend a lot of time going, it's so cold. And my feet tend to be in some position like this where I'm on the sides of my feet. Minimal surface area, slightly tougher skin, I guess. I don't know. Slightly more cold resistant skin. And I walk around like this. And if you spend a lot of time like this, it's actually not so great for your knees because you're rotating your knees out like this in this sort of angle, right? Instead of keeping them in their typical strong positions, which is kind of stacked like that. So when you're strengthening your ankles, sometimes it's important to think about what your goals are and what your purpose is. If you have weak ankles and you just keep on rolling them and you keep on spraining them, then the purpose is going to be a little bit different than if you are trying to get stronger for a deep squat, right? Yeah, let me know in the comments. What are you trying to get better at? What is the purpose of strengthening your ankles? And maybe we can direct the conversation more closely to what you need. We got a question for I need help with balance. Got it. And I'm still waiting for Wicked 8662 to hear about the ankle strength. While we're waiting for ankle strength, let's talk about balance. I need help with balance, hip mobility, and core strength. Oh, okay, there we go. The outer side of the ankle to prevent rolling. There's two things. One, you can get way more comfortable with rolling so that you can just get back from it fast. And that's a combination of both flexibility and strength, I believe. And the other thing is if you really want to prevent rolling, then I think you might want to focus on your foot positioning a little bit more than just pure ankle. A lot of the time, if you're rolling to the outside, and I think this is rolling to the outside, right? Where you're or I don't know, do people sprain their ankle this way? I imagine that most people sprain their ankle this way. A lot of the time when this happens is because you've been walking in a way where a lot of your weight is on your pinky toe, like along the outside of your foot. And so when you misstep, your leg is already primed and ready to roll out to the side, right? So if you start focusing on walking with a little bit more intention on that big toe or the part of your foot where the big toe is down, or trying to balance between the big toe and the pinky toe and the heel, so it's more of a tripod, right? Like this, you'll be able to have a little bit more stability, and that might be all that you need in order to prevent some ankle rolling. But what you're experiencing right now is your ankles are rolling and it's really uncomfortable. So some of the things you could do right off the bat is to try and find a way to get more comfortable in that rolled ankle position, because it's totally possible for your ankle to get to that position and for it to hang out in that position. It's going to be really uncomfortable if you just recently rolled your ankle or you just recently sprained your ankle. But once you get past that little bit of discomfort and start training it, the more you hang out in this kind of position, forcing the ankles to be strong and used to this, the easier it will be to handle rolling that ankle. Think about specifically what to do to strengthen that ankle. Honestly, I think it'd probably be a lot of balance work, and it might be a little bit scary because that balance work is probably going to cause you to roll your ankle if you don't take it very carefully, right? If you try to do something like this, you don't have to elevate your foot on something so squishy. Yoga blocks I actually don't recommend, so try to find something a little bit more firm. I just happen to have a yoga block in front of me for this example. If you hang out with just the front of your foot and you do a little bit of wiggling with your upper body and trying to balance with your upper body, you might be able to work slowly on that ankle strength, right? There's a portion of this where you can just focus on kind of weird calf raises. If you go forward, that's a regular calf raise. If you kind of go forward and focus on the pinky toe and you kind of open it outwards, you start putting pressure on slightly different muscles in the ankle, in the foot, and that might be all that you need to help start to strengthen the ankles. I think, what else I got? I think that's all I got for this. Stretch it out. Get comfortable in that position that would otherwise cause you to roll your ankle and be really, really uncomfortable, because your body's totally capable of handling it. It was just super shocked when you rolled your ankle. And different types of calf raises and different types of balance work where your ankles are less stable and require a little bit more strength should be able to help strengthen that. And a lot of it is possibly related to balance. If you notice, for example, if the bottom of your shoes, if you notice that it's always the outside of the heel that is worn away, that might suggest that you naturally walk a little bit like this. I'm obviously exaggerating, right? But that you plant and put more weight on your pinky toe rather than on your big toe. And if that's the case, it makes more sense if you misstep or you step off just a little bit, that you're already primed to roll your ankle that way, right? So this is going to be a hard change, and I have no idea how to do this. I'm not a podiatrist, so this is all the advice I can give. If you can start consciously focusing on putting a little bit more weight towards your big toes and bringing more weight towards the center of your body, that might help with avoiding some of the rolling that you are struggling with. Whew, okay, that's all I got. I was keeping an ankle brace on while stretching and trying different moves. Oh, interesting. I kind of did that. Never happened before. The outside of the ankle to prevent rolling. Never happened. Okay, let me think. Oh, interesting. Somebody else is talking about their ankles too. Perfect timing. I actually did sprain my ankle. Need my ankle for speed. Oh, man. Okay. I have no idea how you recover an ankle for power and speed. I have, in 1 year, sprained my ankle like 2 or 3 times when I was like 15. And I really liked running and sprinting back then. So I imagine my foolish self, all I did was probably just run and jump as usual, as soon as I could. And I don't know, I didn't do this super competitively, so I don't have any markers for if I was faster or slower or anything like that. But I'm still kind of bouncy, so I think my ankles are recovered. And all I did was just continue being my silly, goofy, jumpy, runny self. So if you're in doubt, do more movement, and hopefully that will help. But yeah, if you're trying to train your ankle for speed and you have a competitive reason to need your ankle to perform a certain way, I'm not going to be super helpful. But if you're just chilling in front of the TV and you're like, oh, let me do a little bit of ankle work, and you want to balance and stuff, I think my general tips can help. Wicked8662 says, thank you so much. Love your teaching style, by the way. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. I hope I was helpful. I really don't have that much information for strengthening your ankles, but I hope those little pieces will give you some inspiration, at least to Google for something specific that might be able to help you. I think you got a good starting point probably for your research. So thanks for coming in. Thanks for asking the question. All right. I think with that, we are all done with the comments in the live, and I am ready to wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. If you're just wondering why this guy is talking about ankles and feet and stuff, it's because we do Q&A at the end of our normal live. The normal live is 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work so that we can all move a little bit better and get to some cool training, cool stuff. Side splits. Woo. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and to make the suffering that you have to do when you're stretching your leg and going, a little bit more fun, a little bit more bearable. So if that sounds fun, if that sounds like something you need, a little bit more consistency, a little bit more fun while you do your workouts, then make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep on coming back, and hopefully we'll make a whole bunch of progress in our hip mobility towards better movement and our side splits together. That's the spiel. If you're looking for other types of content, I do a little bit of calisthenics stuff, a little bit of strength stuff, and I try to integrate little bite-sized pieces of time, like when you're making ramen when you're chilling, brushing your teeth, into cool little tiny opportunities to get a little bit of exercise in. If you've been on the live a couple of times, you know that the Cossack switches by themselves are what, a minute, 2 minutes of really intense movement, and that's all you need to be super tired. And I try to take that idea of some thoughtful, concentrated movement for just a minute or two is all you need to get a decent workout. Maybe it's not the perfect workout. Maybe scientifically it's not going to grow your muscles as fast as humanly possible, but some exercise is better than no exercise. And if you can't squeeze out 45 minutes plus a 2-hour commute or whatever it is to do whatever you got to do, you can find other places, other times to squeeze in little bits of exercise to help you maintain strength, maybe to train your balance. And that's what those videos tend to be about: how to get a little bit of exercise, a little bit of body care into your day without committing a whole bunch of time to it. Cool. What else we got? If you can't make a live any given day, and you're like, man, I wish I could, but I don't have the time because Ken talks for so much, we have a YouTube video, and the username is the same. It's at splits on the side. It's completely silent. I don't do any talking whatsoever. And we just go through all of the movements that we did today as fast as possible. It's about 15 minutes, I think. So if you don't need any more explanation, you've been doing the lives plenty of times, you're a pro now, go ahead, pop in, check out that video, get it done. If you need to get up at 6 in the morning, do something quick, and you need to be quiet because you got family members you don't want to wake up, that's the video for you. Okay, that's enough self-promotion. I'm going to check the chat one more time, and I'm going to wrap up for realsies. Thanks. This is so awesome. Oh, good girl asked about balance and hip mobility. Hold on. Let me take a look at that question. I completely forgot. My bad. I need help with balance, hip mobility, and core strength. We do a lot of hip mobility together on the show, so if you hang out and do that with us, you'll be good for the most part on that end. If you're really, really, really focused on trying to get better at hip mobility fast, then this probably isn't the best show for you. It really depends on how much time and effort and dedication you're ready to put into the process, right? The way my show is designed is to build consistency first. So if you've already got consistency built and you're showing up and you're doing this work and you're ready to make progress a little bit faster, that's a great place to be. And it's probably going to be more effective using another format of exercise. I'm trying to build consistency and build as much consistency with as many people as possible. So my format, my show is designed for that. We do a little bit of exercise and we try to make it fun, and we do it at the same time every single day, stuff like that. Good girl says, I need to build consistency. Well, if you're trying to build consistency first, and that's your primary motive, then sticking around with our hip mobility is going to be a perfect way to start building up a little bit more hip mobility. On the topic of balance, balance is actually something I don't know very much about, but reacting to instability helps you build balance, right? So if you practice everything all the time on perfectly smooth floors, it's going to be a little bit harder to build up your ability to react to instability because everything has been stable and everything has been perfect. So what do I recommend that you do? I think there's a lot of things that you can passively do that are fun, that don't feel like you're training, that might be nice and enjoyable. If you hiked, for example, and you got lots of lumpy rocks and stones and roots and things all over the place, and you gently started integrating that type of activity into your life, I think your balance would get a little bit better automatically, and you wouldn't have to think of it as training. You can think of it as like an enjoyable outdoor activity. In my opinion, that probably is a little bit more fun. Other than that, talked about core and balance and core strength. Oof. Okay. All those things take a lot of time and a lot of effort to train. So let me think. Balance and core, balance and core, balance and core. Is there any way to do those fast or quick and that I know of? I don't have a good answer for this, but your core is designed to move in a whole bunch of different ways, right? One is to stay super stable and not move. So that is to fight against outside forces. If somebody is trying to, or if you're, I don't know, how do I say this? If you are trying to do something like a plank, there we go. Man, it took me so long. If you're trying to do a plank, there's a lot of outside force trying to cause your core to collapse, right? You want to drop your knees down, you want to stick your butt up, all those reasons, and your core is doing anti-movement. It's trying to stay locked and supported. This is foundational for a lot of strength exercises, right? From the plank to pretty much any super powerful exercise. Holding a lot of tension in the core, keeping the core stable is an essential skill. But the core is designed to do way more than just not move. It's designed to move well and to move with strength, right? So if you are somebody who plays a sport like baseball, and there's a lot of it that comes from the hips, but your spine is also doing a little bit of work, rotating and generating power. There is rotational training. So you might see some YouTube videos of people who have one of those machines where they're like pulling on a little rope thing, a little wire thing, and they're going like this or like this. And that is a perfectly valid rotational core exercise. Variation of this might be on the floor. You have a medicine ball, and you're doing something that looks like this, right? What else is the core really good at? The core is really good at leg lifts, right? So compressing your chest to your legs in some way, shape, or form. And training for those at home, there are a couple of really straightforward ways, right? Like this is what we call most ab exercises. And if you want to make them cool, make them into a skill, there's things like L-sits. I can't get it any more cool than that. That's as cool as I can get. But there are things like V-sits where you can extend your arms really, or your legs straight up into the air along with your chest. I don't got enough flexibility or strength for that. And that is plenty of talk about core. Let me think. Balance. I really don't have that much information about balance. I think a lot of it comes from foot and ankle mobility and strength to adjust, but a lot of balance also comes from the whole rest of the body moving well together to adjust for whatever it is that you're doing. I recommend that you probably go just have fun and enjoy something that requires a lot of balance and start at an easy level and slowly develop it up, because balance training probably isn't nearly as fun as getting on something that requires balance, right? Maybe rollerblading, maybe ice skating, maybe snowboarding, maybe skiing, maybe hiking, I said earlier. And what other sports require reacting from left to right and back? That's all I can think of at the moment. I think possibly because it's winter and I'm thinking about snow sports. Good Girl, Good Life says, yes, I've been thinking about hiking just for a mindless workout. It is a good idea. You should definitely try your best to, I think, we overemphasize the importance of like making fitness time like its own thing in our current fitness culture. And I think if you move well and you move a lot and you give yourself a really good reason to do fun things and your body is moving around and doing stuff, for most people, that will be plenty. And then when you have specific needs, you can go train and do and take care of those specific needs. So, yeah, try different things that require you to work on your balance a little bit. And I think for the most part, it will make the experience more fun and it'll make you want to actually do it. Because regular balance work, I don't think is fun at all. I can't imagine standing on like one of those inflatable blue balls on the platform and just having your ankle go do 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 do. Do you need super fast ankle strength trained up? Because that might be the most direct, fastest way to train up your ankles. But if you can incorporate it into something fun and interesting, then it's probably going to be a lot easier for you to stay consistent with the fun and interesting thing rather than trying to find a whole bunch of equipment that you've never used before, learning how to use them, and then trying to figure out a whole bunch of new stuff and then stay consistent with that, right? Anyways, that's enough of my spiel. I hope you enjoyed the live. I'm ready to wrap up for today. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency. We are here every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is an hour and a half ago. And I hope to see you again soon. I'm wrapping up here on TikTok, I think. So, closing out. Goodbye. All right. Abdullah Martin says, I think this philosophy is great, man, especially if you're consistent. Has actually helped me keep consistent. Oh, okay. Hold on. We got other questions. Hi, I have my left side body less dominant. The left side is less dominant. How can I work out better because I feel this disbalance in working out? Ooh, okay. Lots of these crazy good questions. I'm going to start by responding to Abdullah because I think it's about philosophy. That's easier to answer. The body's designed to move, right? A lot of our fitness life, like fitness culture, is like, oh, we messed up our bodies because all we do is like hang out in this position typing away on our computers, and we're slouching and we're staring at our phones and we're not moving, and that's bad, right? So instead of adding something that you find unfun into your life and trying to force yourself to do something you don't actually enjoy to get fitter, to lose weight, to, whatever it is that you are trying to otherwise do, it makes way more sense to do something that you actually enjoy that helps you do and live the life that is more fun. And if all the other goals start coming together and matching up, great, amazing, even better, right? If you hate working out and now you're like, oh man, I really need to work on my balance, so I'm going to go to the gym every single day, stand on something to work on balance, it's going to be really hard for you to stay consistent. Maybe you'll pull it off for a couple of days, but it's going to be really hard to stay consistent for a long time. There are plenty of other ways to work on balance. Maybe they won't be as effective. Maybe the training won't be as direct. But if you're able to do it for a much longer period of time because you actually enjoy it, that will probably help most people a little bit more. If you have an acute, like something serious that you need to start training immediately because it's causing problems, then hopefully that's enough motivation to keep you doing the gym version, right? Like the therapy version of that exercise. But for most people, if you're just trying to get started doing something, you're like, oh, this is a little bit weird, maybe I should start working on it. Making it fun is way more important than, or making it fun so that you can stay consistent. Staying consistent is way more important than having the best possible workout for this particular muscle, for muscle growth, for whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? Okay. Ugh. Other question was, how can I work out because I feel this disbalance in working out? Okay. You only gave me a little tiny piece of information, and that was the left side feels like it's not working as hard. Don't know if you're talking about your legs. I don't know if you're talking about your arms, your chest muscle even, right? If you're doing a push-up and your left pec is stronger than your right pec and you're using more chest to push, then your body will automatically compensate. My left chest, I think, is stronger than my right chest, but that means my right arm is also stronger than my left arm because when we're doing push-ups, they compensate for each other. And a little bit of unevenness is very, very, very normal in most people. So a little bit is not a big deal. But you're saying that you feel an imbalance in your movement because your left side is less strong. If you've been training a lot already, then you might know that there's a lot of moves that you can do with one side. And you don't have to do both at the same time, right? So push-ups, for example, we typically experience them as this motion. You can definitely do a variation, maybe an easier variation with one arm, right? If you're able to do regular push-ups like this, but you're not able to do push-ups quite like that, then you can elevate your hand and get into something that looks a little bit more like this. Wow, my elbows were not ready for that. I should have warmed up. And if that is still a little too extreme, you can do them against the wall, right? Like there's lots of different ways to tweak a movement so that you can train the left side a little bit more. If your goal is to focus on getting both of them to be evened out, probably the easiest thing to start with is training the side that's a little bit weaker. But just make sure that you know it's actually weaker. So if you have dumbbells, if you have weights, if you're going to do very focused work with, I don't know, bicep curls, for example, because that's an easy example, then you'll know immediately the difference because you're picking up the same object, right? But a lot of the time, it can be a little bit hard when you're doing body weight exercises. You're not quite sure where the weakness is in a complex movement. For example, when you're doing something that looks like a pistol squat, oh, and I lost balance immediately going down. There's a bunch more pieces in it than just, your quad strength, right? In a pistol squat, there's balance, there's knee stability, there's hip stability, and there's ankle mobility. Plus, how much you can fold forward all goes into how well you can balance. I have kind of a messed up left knee, so it compensates, and I have a slightly weaker glute medius, and that makes my left pistol squat a little bit worse, a little less comfortable than my right pistol squat. What that means overall is it's hard to target just one muscle when you're doing complex exercises like a squat. And so you might need to do some focused pieces on just the muscles that you care about so that they can even up and match up a little better. For most people, a little bit of imbalance is totally normal, but you did say that the imbalance you're feeling and you want to change that when you're working out. I think when you're just starting, you should probably assess where that imbalance is exactly and focus on one thing at a time. The more things you combine, the easier it is to kind of compensate and shift and get other things to happen. And you got to be super neutral about everything else, right? It's not about when you're trying to play catch up on one side, you got to focus on the goal of playing catch up. If you're playing catch up, but you're also going, oh, what is the highest number that I can squat today? Then you're mixing up your goals. The highest number that you can squat today is going to bias your strongest leg, right? And it's going to bias getting it done no matter what. And if you're getting it done no matter what, it's going to be very different from focusing on the muscles that are a little bit weaker and need to be strengthened in order to balance off your body. Cool? I hope that is valuable and is something useful for your training. Yeah, that's all I know about you. I can only give you that vague tip to focus your training for that. Cool? All right, that's it. I'm wrapping up. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, and asking great questions. I hope I was helpful. I hope you got a little bit of exercise. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you tomorrow. All right, wrapping up. Goodbye.